Hello, Simon here again. Thanks very much for checking out my YouTube channel. Today I thought I'd talk about something which affects virtually all guitar players and songwriters at some point in their career, and that is getting stuck in a guitar playing rut. It can happen to every player, basically, whether you've been playing for 2 months or if you've been playing for 30 years. So I just thought I'd look at various ways that I've found to help get out of that and get back on track and writing some more songs and some more riffs. So the first thing which I found quite useful is to try some alternative tunings, whether that's drop D or dadgad or trying an open G or something like that. Straight away, as soon as you start playing, it brings out some different ideas and different riffs in you, and it forces you to think about the fretboard differently, because obviously depending on the tuning, a lot of the notes on the fretboard can have changed, and it helps you think, right, well, where can I play a D chord if I'm in dadgad, or what does this fingering create, what sort of chord does that make? So I find that that's a brilliant way to try and come up with new ideas. Secondly, a really good one is to use the capo. Now, I like putting the capo on the 2nd fret. I like the way that it makes the guitar sound, and I like the way that the chords, when they're formed, just sound a bit crisper to me than if you were just playing normally without the capo. But a couple of ideas that you can perhaps use is put the capo right high up the guitar, and then it gives a completely different feel. If you're going to sing over the top of it, it forces you to obviously sing in a completely different key, and a lot of times you can use lots of open strings and they sound nicer than they would do at concert pitch, so to speak, if you were not using the capo. Another good thing with the capo that I like to do is to actually, at the 2nd fret, is to not engage the high E string, on this one. And what that does, it creates a nice drone with the open E, so you can play a D chord and it can be quite nice to have that open E droning all the way through the chords. Likewise, what you can also do at the 2nd fret is to put the capo on but not cover the low E string, which gives you a nice deep, almost drop D-esque type sound. Which opens up the fretboard slightly differently, and how you can finger some things and what it sounds like. So that's just a couple of tips with the capo. Another suggestion I could make is learn a new technique. So for example, you could try out some slide playing. I do that quite often if I'm feeling a bit like nothing is working. I try and play a bit of slide, basically because it's perhaps the one area of my playing that's not fantastic, but I'm trying to have a conscious effort to try and improve it. So if I'm feeling I'm not doing anything new, just same old chords, riffs, I'll try a bit of slide playing. So that can be an excellent way of bringing out some new ideas, and again, combining that with an alternative tuning such as open G is great for slide playing. So that's another avenue. Or you could do something with trying some open strings. That's something that I've been doing quite a lot recently, which is sort of great around the G position on the guitar. So you can soon find where it doesn't work, but you can let the open G string ring around sort of a pentatonic type scale. Gives it quite a bluesy, sort of swampy feel, and that's something that's helped me trying to incorporate the open strings more into my playing. Another thing that you could consider is basically trying a different instrument. A few years ago I got hold of a ukulele, and as soon as I started playing it, I got 2, 3, 4 song ideas out of it. So whether you're going to sit down and do that ukulele or a banjo, or even sit down and play the piano, something that you can take some of the skills and musical knowledge from the guitar that you've got and put it onto another instrument, that can be a great way to break the cycle of being in a rut and find some new sort of songwriting ideas. Then a couple of things which perhaps aren't so guitar specific, but go to a gig. Very often I've found if I'm in a rut musically, I've got tickets booked for a gig, and you get inspired straight away and think as soon as you get home you want to pick the guitar up and start playing. So that can be a great way of getting you out of the rut. And finally, and I'm bound to say this as now I'm giving guitar lessons, but take some lessons. Very often you could have, I've heard people who've been playing a year, maybe 2, and have got so far with the playing, and then they hit a wall and they can't take it any further. They don't feel able to get out the little boxes that all guitar players play in from time to time. Well, taking lessons can be a great way of getting out of that. Not necessarily because, obviously, hopefully a tutor's going to teach you something new, but just seeing somebody else play can give you ideas straight away. And sometimes that competitive spirit can take over, and you start thinking, well, I want to try and do that, I can play that as well as they can, etc, etc. So taking a lesson can really help bring extra ideas out of you, and just get some advice from someone who's maybe been playing longer, and like I've tried to do with this video, then give you some tips on how to advance your playing and get over that wall so that you take your playing on to the next level. So I hope some of those are useful to some of you out there. Please stay tuned to my channel for more videos. Please subscribe, and details on my website are up at the moment. Thanks a lot. Cheers.